Yo, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. Now today, I wanted to talk about the new Resin Pass that got leaked. It hasn't been announced or confirmed or anything like that, but it was found in the PlayStation Store in Asia, I believe. So in my opinion, it's pretty much as good as confirmed at this point. Now what this Resin Pass actually does is essentially it works just like the Welkin Moon. You pay $5 a month, and then you get a small lump of resin up front. In this case, it's 60 resin, and then you get 40 resin extra every single day. And this will be on top of the refills that you can spend. Now, what does this mean? Basically, when you break it down, you're getting 60 resin up front whenever you purchase, and then over the course of the 30 days, you're going to get 40 resin a day. That's a total of 1,200 resin. So that's 1,260 resin total that you're getting with this little pass. Now, if you refill using Primo Gems, the first refill at least cost 50 Primos, okay? So 50 Primos gives you 60 resin every single day. So if you take the 1,260 total, that's essentially the equivalent of 21 refills. 21 one-day refills. So in 21 days, you spend 50 Primos a day, and you already have what you're getting over the course of the 30 days with the Resin Pass. Now that is equivalent to about 1,050 Primos. When you compare that to the Welkin Moon, which gives you 300 Genesis Crystals, which have a 1-to-1 ratio with Primo Gems, so they're essentially like having 300 Primo Gems. Plus the 2,700 that you get total over the course of the month, that's 3,000 Primo Gems. So for $5, you get 3,000 Primo Gems with the Welkin Moon, and for the Resin Pass, which costs the same amount of money, it costs $5, you're getting a third of what you would have gotten if you had just bought the monthly Welkin. So just right off the bat, before we get into discussing this, if you're considering buying this is pretty much just for whales, to be honest with you. For low spenders, it makes 0 cents to get this unless you're already getting the Welkin. I think Welkin has amazing value, is the same thing as the Battle Pass, so if you're already getting both of those, that's 15 bucks. I don't know if it's worth it for you. If you're grinding a lot, this might help, but this just really translates to 1 extra boss a day or 1 extra condensed per day. That's essentially what this is. If you are a very, very low spender, you don't really buy anything in this game, where you're completely free to play, and you look at this and you might think, oh well, should I get it? Because, you know, it is kind of annoying having to wait for all my resin to recharge all the time. I don't think you should. I think if you really want to get the most bang for your buck, if you're only going to spend $5, just spend it on the Welkin, because you're gonna get more out of it anyway. You're gonna get 30 days worth of free refills, essentially, instead of just getting the 21 for the same amount of money. All right, so if you're only gonna buy one, just buy the Welkin. Now, if you're whaling and you don't really care, if you're already spending hundreds of dollars a month, this is literally nothing. This is just $5 a month for more resin. Basically, the more money that you've already invested into the game, the more value this has for you. Anyway, now that we've talked about all the math and everything like that out of the way, I want to talk about the significance of this being put into Genshin Impact, because people have been complaining about resin for a long time. When this game first came out, nobody really noticed it or gave a crap about it, because they were way too busy doing everything in the game, exploring the map, getting new characters, doing all these things. You get so many rewards, and it's so easy to level up at lower levels that you didn't really have a problem getting the gear that you needed, all the way up until you start getting into AR35, AR40 territory. Now, the problem with this is that players wanted change. They wanted resin changed, or they wanted it removed. Mihoyo has done neither, and they don't plan to do neither, because otherwise they would have already done it a very long time ago. So their solution was to increase the resin cap to 160, which is not even 180, okay? Which is the maximum amount of resin you can get per 24 hours. You can't even, you can't even beat all 3 world bosses, which cost 60 resin each. I don't know why they still cost resin if you can only do them once a week. Seriously, Mihoyo? Like, why? Just remove the adventure rank reward from the weekly bosses and just let us do them for free. It makes no goddamn sense. You can only run this once a week. You need their materials for talent upgrades, and they cost 60 resin. That's insane to me, but anyway, we'll talk about that in another video. The point is, each one of them costs 60 resin. There's 3 of them. Simple math, that's 180 resin total. You can't even save up all of your resin to do them in a day. Let's just say you forgot to play for a day, or you just really did not have time to do so. You come back and you just want to get your weekly weekly drops, you can only do 2 bosses, and then you have to sit there and wait for over 2 hours for your resin to refill so that you can kill the 3rd one, which is ridiculous. So they decided to increase the cap to a barely significant amount, which was 160. And then instead of reducing the amount of time that it takes for resin to recharge, they just decided to put out a $5 monthly pass that gives you resin at a third of the amount of value that their pre-existing $5 monthly pass was. I think this was a horrible move. Basically, the only people that are going to benefit from this are high spenders and whales, because they don't give a crap. Like, $5 a month to them is nothing. However, for a free-to-play player that doesn't even have Welkin, $5 a month is a lot. And, you know, if they don't have Welkin, they're definitely not going to get this. At least with Welkin, you can get all of the resin this pass gives you, and you still have enough leftover primos for a couple of summons. It makes no sense to me. I don't know why it wouldn't just give you extra 60 resin per day just to make it the same value as a regular Primogem refill. I honestly don't know what they were thinking with this. It's literally just greed, 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 greed. And to me, this just confirms that they're never going to fix resin. Because why would they put this out if they plan to change resin and make the recharge faster, or the cooldown a lot less, or reducing the cost of it throughout all the entire game? Like, this just lets you know that they are not going to do any of those things. They just want you to whale more on the game if you want to get more out of it. This is just adding another way for you to spend your primos, or in this case your money, to get activities done in the game. It's becoming more and more pay to win. I fear that the next thing they're going to do is just increase the amount of refills that you can do per day. Or, in a worst case scenario, they would remove the cap for refills and cap it out at 250 primos per refill. So you could literally just keep wailing and wailing and wailing and wailing and wailing to your heart's content, grinding for whatever the hell it is that you're grinding for, artifacts, whatever. I think that they'll do that when the game starts to die, and then the only people that are left are whales, so that way they have another way to feed themselves money. I don't really see this happening for a very, very long time, but it's still worrisome to me, and I feel like low spenders and free-to-play players are just getting the fucking worst end of the stick with this game. They keep doing these events to distract you from the fact that resin is still an issue. They made events in the game not cost resin, so that way you don't have to stress about it, which, by the way, is a good thing. But it's mainly as it's a distractor. It's making you forget about the fact that it used to cost resin. And instead of looking at it as, okay, well, this should be done with the rest of the game, now you're looking at it and it's making you feel like, wow, thank God, I can't believe that these things used to cost resin. This is so good. Thank you so much, Mihoyo. Now I can spend my resin on the stuff that I actually want to use it on. No. Like, yes, it's a step in the right direction, but I don't think it's going to continue on that path. They keep doing these things to turn your eyes away from the issue. Imagine if people had complained about resin the same way that the Chinese community complained about Zhongli. There has not been an uproar over resin, the same way that Zhongli was. There were a lot of complaints about a month into the game when people started to hit that wall where you need to wait for so long. They keep releasing these packs for whales that give you a crap load of materials. The last one had 75 blue enhancement materials. That was enough to fucking get a single weapon to 90 or something like that, or at least get it very close. And they just keep making the game easier for people who spend more money, and they keep making the game more disappointing to those who aren't spending any money. And I understand that that as a company, their main goal is to make money. Anyway, guys, I know that this video came off as ranty and rambly. I'm probably gonna have to cut out a bunch of segments because I don't want to end up repeating myself a lot. But at the end of the day, I don't have high hopes for the quality of life or future of Genshin in this regard. I don't think they're going to let up with the resin. I think they're just going to keep finding ways to circumvent changing the resin recharge rate, and of course coming up with more packs and things to sell you to distract you from the fact, or to help whales circumvent the fact that they have to spend their resin. Because if you sell packs that have in-game upgrade materials like talent books, fragile resin, and weapon upgrade materials and things like that, obviously now you don't have to spend your resin on those items, you can just spend it on other things. So I think they're just going to keep making those packs, and they're going to keep coming up with bullshit like this. And yeah, I don't think that's ever going to get changed unless the community takes a stand the same way that they took a stand against Zhongli and fights for change. Because that's the only way. But anyway, guys, like I said, I don't want to make this video too long, but thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are on this topic in the comment section down below, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care.